I hate to say it, but police are now preparing for violence here in the United States. This is something they have been anticipating for some time. However, they're now starting to think that it is going to be worse and the violence could be more intense than they ever realized. Now I'm going to break down what's going on, what we've seen just over the past 48 hours, and what experts are anticipating here for the next week to potentially 2 months. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So I hate to say it, but this is not a joke. Police are now worried of additional threats and violence to people here in the United States. Just look at this. It says local police across America prep for election threats and violence. It goes on to say it all started with the turmoil of 2020, which one former sheriff called the Columbine of election-related threats. Now, we're going to get to this article in just a moment, but I want to show you some other things. Look at this right here. Now, you may remember just the other day I talked about this, how there was a fire, actually multiple fires, set in ballot boxes, one in Vancouver, Washington, the other one in Portland, Oregon. Well, this article from CNN says police say they think man suspected of setting fires at ballot boxes in the Portland, Oregon area intends to strike again. Yeah, that's concerning. But again, this is just the beginning. Look at this article, okay? This one right here says threats and safety concerns lead officials to enhance election security measures. Now, I want to read you a little bit of this. Here's the reason why. We are seeing more threats. This is just the beginning. Look at this right here. It says, understanding the problem of threats nationwide. It says right here, what Lavoie experienced is not just happening in Baltimore County. Threats are happening to election officials all over the country by phone, mail, and even in person. Goes on to say, in Wisconsin, a man walked into a polling location with a knife and demanded the staff stop the voting. Says in Kentucky, the Capitol Police were evacuated when a bomb threat was emailed to the Deputy Secretary of the state. Now, here's where things get very interesting, okay? I want to read you some of these numbers right here. Look at this. It says the Brennan Center for Justice report of 2024 says 40% of local election officials say they have taken steps to increase physical security since the 2020 election. Now, here's the concern, is that people in the polling booth, okay, the people that are running the centers, maybe some that are still doing campaigning, they're keeping weapons in their car, because you don't want to take weapons inside of a polling location, but they're keeping weapons in their car. Well, if they feel threatened, they go to their car or they're followed. According to local police, they are concerned that that would easily escalate. Yeah, that's the problem. Goes on to say 38% of local election officials report experiencing threats, harassment, or abuse. That's more than 1 in 3. Says 54% are concerned about the safety of their colleagues and staff, and 28% are concerned about their family or loved ones being threatened or harassed. Now, I want to get to the main article, okay? This one right here. Local police across America prep for election threats and violence. This is what we have been anticipating for some time, that this is what we're going to see. Let's read it. It says, as election day nears, police chiefs and sheriffs around the country are bracing themselves for violent threats against election workers and turmoil at voting sites and intimidation of voters. It says in Maricopa County, Arizona, multiple emergency hubs will be running on November 5th. In Georgia, all new police officers are now required to study election law. In Omaha, Nebraska, the sheriff has even inspected ballot counting machines in response to residents' concerns, and across the nation, local law enforcement officials have been huddling with election officials to game out how they will handle bomb threats, SWAT hoaxes, and white powdery substances if they materialize on election day. Again, all threats that we do not want to see. We don't want to see SWAT hoaxes. We don't want to see bomb threats. We don't want to see white powdery substance. Okay, we don't want to see any of that stuff, right? Now, here's the concern. Police have been preparing. Okay, we have local law enforcement. We even have the FBI that is watching things very closely. Here's the concern, though. There's too many people for the amount of law enforcement that we have. So the problem that we are going to face moving forward, there's going to be a lot of threats. There's going to be different bomb threats and hoaxes that people are going to try to play to shut down certain polling locations. Okay? We've seen this in the past, but according to reports, experts believe that we are actually going to experience a higher threat count than ever before. The amount of polling locations that will close for hours on end as an investigation is underway, it's going to be huge, according to reports, or at least that's what experts are anticipating. Now, here's the one thing I want to leave you with. Should you be concerned about voting in this election? The answer should be no. Everybody should be able to vote, no matter what or who they vote for. With that said, okay, and again, this is why I'm going to bring it to your attention. We are already seeing threats against people of color that do not look like they are from the U.S. Okay, these are people from China, people from Mexico, people from Colombia, or right, really anywhere. If they are not looking like they are from the United States, don't speak English very clearly, this is where experts and police officers are concerned, is that there will be more threats to those communities and those locations in the next week. So, here's what you can do. If you can vote early, experts say vote early, because the threats that will likely happen on election day. So if you can vote early, they say do it. Make sure that you are pretty much done voting. Your vote's been cast. You're good to go. You don't have to worry about any potential threat that may arise over the next week. All right? So I will leave you with that, but just understand these things are going to happen. We see it every single year. Every election we have, there are threats, there are hoaxes, there are actual risks involved. But this year, experts believe it's going to be way more than we've ever seen before. So I will leave you with that. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.